Hi there, it's Olga. Welcome back to my channel. The project I'm going to create today is a clean and simple card with an abstract marine scene. I'll show you how to make this card step by step. It is in fact very simple to make, but you have to perform all the steps in a certain order, otherwise it might not work. So let's get started. To begin with, we're going to need an A2 size card base, 4¼ by 5½ inches, as well as the panel that is just slightly smaller than the card base. I'm going to use some Paper Discovery products, and the first die I'm going to need is this large swirl from Leaf and Blossom die set. Then I'm going to need these two circle dies from Card Builder die set. You can use any other circle dies. These ones just happen to be the right size for this project. I will also going to need Woodgrain embossing folder as well as the sentiment. The stamp is from Tag Builder sentiment set. So what I'm doing now is I am arranging all the dies on the panel surface to know exactly where each element is going to be positioned. Then I'm going to tape down only the large circle, and I'm going to remove the rest of the elements. And then I'm sending the panel through the die cutting machine. I'm going to put this gray circle away and replace it with the one that I've die cut out of white cardstock. I'm taping it down on the wrong side to secure it in place just temporarily. Then I'm going to position the swirl die as well as the small circle die onto the surface of the card again, and I'm taping them down and sending them through the die cutting machine. If you are interested in the tools and products that I'm using, I will have them listed down below in the description as well as on my blog. Then I'm going to remove all the tape, and I'm going to keep all the die cut elements except the swirl itself. I will also need the small negative pieces later on. Now I'm going to do the stamping. I'm positioning my panel into the stamping platform in case I need to stamp the sentiment twice for better impression. The ink I'm going to use is Memento Gray Flannel. I decided to go with a dark gray ink instead of the black one. Black just seems a bit too harsh for this project. So I'm stamping the sentiment twice to get the crisp impression, and then I'm going to do some embossing. So I'm positioning my panel into the Woodgrain embossing folder, and I'm also going to place that small negative piece inside as well. This woodgrain pattern is going to allow me to add some horizontal lines to the project. These are going to match the waves of the sea, and they're also not going to add too much to this project and not going to overwhelm it. So now I'm going to color this small circle using some distress inks. I'm using Squeezed Lemonade as the main color, and then I'm using Wild Honey to add some shading all around. I'm applying a bit more ink onto one side to create a kind of shading effect. To color the water part, I'm going to use Weathered Wood Distress ink. Weathered Wood is a kind of bluish-gray color. It's a very convenient ink to use when you don't want to add a really bright blue to your project. I'm squeezing out some of the same color ink onto the acrylic block, then I'm adding some water. And then I'm going to add some splatters onto this white piece of cardstock. I'm mainly concentrating on the bottom part of it. Those little splatters are going to help the swirl look more like ocean waves. Now it's time to start assembling all the die cuts. So first I'm applying some adhesive onto the card base. It's important to leave the border all around the perimeter, since my panel is a bit smaller than the card base. and then I'm applying adhesive to cover up as much of the area as I can. The first die cut I'm going to attach is the panel. I'm just centering it on the card front and pressing it down slightly to stick. Then I'm going to place the sky part of my scene. I just have to align the two ends with the points where the swirl begins, and then it's going to be positioned perfectly. Now I'm inlaying the swirl that I've die cut out of white cardstock, and I'm also placing the small negative pieces. Then I'm going to stick down the sea and the sun. At this point I thought that I would like the swirl to stand out a little bit more, so I'm going to remove the sky part using the spatula. I'm pushing the spatula underneath the die cut and carefully going all around it, and this way it's not going to be damaged. Then I'm going to take weathered wood distress ink again, and I'm going all around the edges of this die cut just very slightly, and this is going to allow me to create a little bit of shading. Once I'm happy with the result, I can stick this die cut back onto the card front, and that finishes my card for today. I think this type of card would suit any occasion, and it's also great as a masculine card. You can see there's a lot of texture on it and it's nice to touch, and at the same time it's quite flat and it fits easily into the standard A2 envelope. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the tutorial. I'll be so happy to see what you are creating with Paper Discovery products, so please feel free to email the pictures of your projects to me or use hashtag #PaperDiscovery on Instagram. This way I'll be able to see your pictures and leave you a comment. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you back soon.